I think it's likely I'm going to remake these parts. I'm not happy with the finish on this, so I got some 4140 pre-hard, and then I probably need to get it oversized and then grind it to final size. And maybe not make this out of stainless, I don't know, but in the meantime, we're going to try this as is and see how my fit is. So the next part up is we're making the spacer, and the spacer will go between the two bearings and space them apart, and then you tighten the inside and then pull them towards each other. So I'm going to face this guy off. I actually got to remove some diameter off this 1/8 inch wall, so that's going to be interesting to see if it rings, because it's 1.75 and it needs to be 1.653. So we're going to give that a shot and see how it works. Just do test fit everything together. Try to face this guy off without it ringing too much. It's pretty soft steel, it's mild steel, so of course it's just sort of smearing about. Wow, it's just not cleaning up, it's just smearing all over the place, which makes me wonder, am I going to be able to remove some material off this outside diameter? I have concerns about that. Well, let's see if we can do 20 thousandths. So it's singing like a mother, but I might be able to, I might have a center I can put in the end of this. So we'll try that next. That ain't reaching. Still moving material. I gotta take 50 thousandths aside, or 100 thousandths roughly off the whole thing. That's kind of crazy for thin wall material. I looked for thicker wall material, but the price was 10 times. So I opted to try this, and we'll see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll obviously have to go with what does. Last pass, we're trying to take it off all at once, 17 thousandths total. Very nice, that's just a couple tenths over. And so we're gonna take some emery cloth and take it down a couple tenths, and we'll be right on. Okay, so I have moved this part deeper into the chuck to give it some more support. I'm gonna make it oversized because I intend on surface grinding the ends on it to make them flat and parallel. So I'm gonna make it 10 thousandths oversized, which the threads can easily compensate for. Maybe I'll make it 20 thousandths oversized. So 1.270. There we are. I'm going to slow this thing down a little bit and just part it right off. Might be a little bit fast. It might just start squealing. So if it does, I'll slow it down. Couldn't ask for better. That was fantastic. All right, we're good to go. Let's surface grind this. So before I take this over the surface grinder, I took the one side that I deburred and I took it over to surface plate that I've got some 30 micron sandpaper adhesed to, and made sure there were no burrs. So that side will go down for the first pass, and then I'll flip it over and come back, and hopefully we'll get it square and parallel. All right, so I surface ground both ends of this guy to be flat and mostly parallel. If I need to be really parallel, I'd have to hold this in some jig to force this to be parallel and then grind them both flat. But they were pretty good to begin with. and I started by grinding the one side that had the burrs on it, flipped it over, ground the other side, and they seem like they're mating up pretty nicely. The inside bearings touch on the shaft here and on the nut. The outside bearings and the sleeve will contact the main casing, which will come back here to a Morse taper 2 over here. Everything's extremely smooth, but even though their dimensions were a little bit off, there is zero play in this, so maybe I won't have to remake this part after all. I'm kind of excited about that because I thought I was going to have to remake it because I didn't like the fact that the bearings slid on so easily. So I guess now we make the outer piece and the nut that holds the outer piece on, and see how we go there. And we'll put this whole thing together and see if it works the way we're expecting. But it is extremely smooth and rotates very easily. Next up, we're going to make the outside case for it, I guess, that the bearings ride in. So we're starting with the back. We're going to face it off. We're going to drill and tap for 1/2 20, and then we're going to flip it around and hollow this guy out and thread it. That should be interesting because that's a ton of material to remove. I realized I could make this hole be a through hole and it wouldn't be a problem, so I'm going to, because that might help me in the future if I need to knock the bearings out. It'll give me an access port. Before we chamfer the back for decorative purposes, I'm going to remove some material and take it down to the 2.153. Of course, I got to have it in gear to do that. Always forget to do that. So we're going to start with 50 thousandths. I'm just going to dial in the last 47 thousandths, take it all at once. Having problems with stringy chips. It's pretty low feed rate, so I'm looking for a good finish. Now for a generous chamfer, just for appearance's sake. I wondered how far I could go. Maybe if I slow it down, I can get a little more. I'm kind of curious about that because that's definitely some chatter there. Negative. Slower still. Let's go for full slow. Too big a bite. Not rigid enough to handle that. Oh, look at that chatter. That's ugly. Ugly, ugly. There we go. Not a bad finish. Had to come at an angle, but we got most of the chatter, and it's decorative anyways. So we can flip this part around. Now we can work on the front. This is a 6-jaw chuck, but as long as your part's large enough diameter, a spacer for a 3-jaw will work just fine. This way I don't have to worry about the part pushing in. Next up, we got to hollow out most of this guy here. It's going to be quite extreme. I'm going to start by drilling a hole all the way through that meets up with the other hole. It's amazing how good a cut center drills can get. I'm going to start with 3/8, go all the way through. We're most of the way through, but I think I'm going to add a little lube to help with the chip clearance a little bit. And we're through. Now I can work my way up in drill bit sizes and clear out most of the drill bits. Going up to 1-inch drill bit. We're going as slow as we can go. It's going from 1/2 inch to 1. Hopefully this won't be too much for it. Operations like this is why I put the spacer in there, because I didn't want the part to be able to slip back in the jaws. This gives the part a backstop. I don't want to bore you with the rest, but boring it is. It's using a solid carbide boring bar, well, solid carbide bar with a steel base. There's still, you can feel a tiny bit of vibration. I'm doing a 50 thousandths depth of cut. It's a pretty deep bore, almost 3.2 inches, essentially 3.2. Last pass on the outside, or the inside bore, which is a non-critical dimension. We're taking 25 thousandths depth of cut, but our feed rate just went up significantly because I got a lot to take off. All right, so here's the fit. And once I get the nut, I build the nut that fits on the end that pushes in. This tiny bit of slop will go away. I made this oversized by a couple thousandths, so it wouldn't be hard to get the bearings and the sleeve in since they're very close fit. What this needs to be more than anything is really free running. So I didn't want to have to struggle with getting this in. So I made it a tiny bit large. That might be a mistake. If I have to make it over, I will. Other than that, I think we're good. It is a very free spinning device. So next we've got to do the threads here, and then we build the nut that contains this. All right, so I've got a grooving cutter here, and we're going to go in 0.4 inches, and we're going to cut a relief for the threads. And we're done. So there's a relief for the threads. Now we'll do threading. Internal threading is kind of hard to show. Slow it down so you get a chance here. Do a scratch pass. I can stop on any number because there's 20 threads per inch. Okay, so there's the threads done, or I might be remaking the whole part. Want to flip for it? All right, on to the last piece, maybe.